Sure, you can if you want.
Sorry, guys. We had some technical issues, but I see we got some people. Okay, we have Antonio, Kristen, Wyatt, Nicole. Welcome, guys. Oh, you did finish it. I'm impressed. Don't mind this thing on my shoulder. Like, I hurt my neck really badly, and, like, the only time I can move is when I have this thing. Alright, so Kristen, you gave it a 4 stars. Did anyone else read it and want to give it a star before I start talking about it? That's me in the background.
Oh, you're in the background? I'm sorry. I'm just checking it to make sure everything's okay.
Cover it with my head.
I think nobody...
Yay! Charlie finished it too. What rating did you give it?
Meek, why are you just sitting there?
I don't know.
Wait.
Alright, so 4.5 stars. I didn't officially rate mine yet, or like do my rating on Goodreads yet, but I think I'm gonna give it a 4.5. Like, I really, really, really enjoyed this book. It was super dense, and like, I'm not really one to read a lot of like political fantasy, but it was like a very political fantasy. But even still, like, I found myself like really enjoying it. There was one issue that just like really stuck out for me, but I feel like the ending was like crazy. Look at this. Like, pretty much the first half of the book, I didn't tab anything. It was just like me trying to figure out what the heck was going on, what all these new words were like trying to figure out the world and everything. And then like the last half of the book, like I tabbed a lot, and then like especially like the very last portion of it, like I tabbed a lot. But do you guys tab like your thoughts, or are you like the type of people that like write in books and stuff? Or do you just read it and not tab? Because you could do that too. But I have a bad memory, so I tend to like forget everything I read unless I tab it. But yeah, I think I'm going to give it a 4.5. The one main issue I had, I think, is the fact that, like, nobody died. Like, nobody significant. I feel like, yes, there's going to be more of these books. The author says it is a trilogy. But I kind of feel like the fact that none of these kind of major / main characters really died. Even though Dara did technically die or disappear at the end, I don't feel that it's permanent, especially with what they said at the very end in like the epilogue.
Somebody loves you.
Thanks. But yeah, so that was like one major issue I had. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it hurt me a lot, like when Ali died, but then he came back, and I was just like, and they do explain why all these people didn't die. Like, I feel like Ali didn't die because he was taken over by the Marid or Marid. That's another thing. Like, while I'm talking about this book, I'm probably going to completely butcher everyone's names, because I tried to look up like on the author's website, because sometimes like authors that write like really dense fantasy will write like how to say character and place names, but she didn't have it on her website. I only found one like mini interview where she said how to say 2 of the characters' names, so I only know, no, she said Daevabad, which is like the city, so I know how to say that, and Nahari, which is like the main character, so I know how to say her name, and that's it. Like, everyone else, I'm just completely guessing. So if I say something that you think is wrong, let me know. So I think that Ali, I kind of get why he came back, sort of, because I think there is something going on with him that we don't know in his bloodline. I am what? What am I doing?
What happened?
I don't know. They said, yeah, you are, but that's fine. But I don't know what I'm doing. Butchering names, I guess. So I guess I understood why he came back, because I think there's something going on with his bloodline, and whether he has something how do I explain this? Correct me if you guys think like something different, but he had water healing powers. Not him really, but water healed him before he even got possessed by the Marid or whatever. Hello. And so I don't know if there's something in him that's like a strong connection to water that we just didn't see before, but then he gets possessed by this Marid, and that's why he doesn't die essentially in the lake or whatever it is that they threw him in. Dara, I don't think is really dead. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but Dara has, what do they call him again, a relic? And his relic is still in the castle. So even if he is technically dead, and like when Ali cut off his hand and he like died. Marid. Okay. Well, I will try to remember that. So even though he got his hand cut off and the ring came off, I always kind of felt like he could come back because his relic is still intact. Because unless I'm wrong, maybe he needs his like slave Jinn vessel in order to come back along with the relic in order to take away his slavery. Like, what is the point of the relic? I'm kind of like a little confused on that still. I really hope Dara comes back too, because he's a really great character. And there is one point in the book where I was like, I don't know how I really feel about this character. He did a lot of messed up things in the past, but he also is really sweet toward Nahari. But at the same time, is he sweet just because she's a Nahid, or however you say that? Like, I don't know. But then his interactions between Ali and like the way he fights him when they're sparring, like, he's really, really brutal. And I was like, oh my goodness, hi Carter. I was like, he's super brutal. Like, I can't believe how brutal this guy is. And like, it kind of like skewed my vision of Dara. And like, let me know if you guys felt like the same. But yeah, so like my vision of him got skewed for a little while, but then I kind of like, I still kind of like him. Like, he's still like a good character, and I like him and Nahari together. But yeah, I just got confused with the whole relic thing. I thought that he could still come back, but maybe he still needs to be in like his fake human form or fake Deva form with the vessel in order to come back and use the relic to like get rid of his slavery. I guess something about that just kind of confused me, and I didn't really get it. So maybe someone can explain it to me. Now this character, I don't know how to say his name, but Jamshid, is that what it is? I'm never going to be able to find it when I want to. It's at the very end. He's a Deva. He was trained to be brutal, but I see what you mean. Yeah. I feel like everything messed up he did always came from a good place. Like, he believed he was being... I agree. So, I mean, he was in a war, and, like, a really huge war. And I guess, like, sometimes innocents die in war, especially, like, you know, children. It is very difficult to read about him doing stuff like that, and I feel like Nahari really felt like it was very difficult also. But yeah, I get it. I mean, it is a war, and, you know, should we excuse him for the things he did in the past? Maybe, because he was never mean to Nahari, so... And you're right, he was trained to be brutal. But, what's his name? Jamshid. Tell me how to say that, someone, if that's how you say it. But I kind of get why he didn't die as well. By the way, I totally guessed about him and Muntadir, their relationship. I'd like to know how you guys are pronouncing this stuff. I was like thinking about this as I'm reading. Like, I wonder how other people are going to pronounce this stuff, because there is no chart to tell you how to do it. So I think that I totally guessed about their relationship kind of early on in the story, and then they confirmed it during the whole mind reading thing, which I thought was really cool. Even though he wasn't really mind reading, I guess the only thing that he could really read was people's wishes, or like their deepest wishes or desires, which was really neat. Like I really liked that, like, thrown in there, and how random it was. Now he got like a headache before he was able to do it. I'm talking about Dara, by the way. And so I guess I understand why he didn't die, because he is a Nahid, apparently. Which, you know, you find out in the very last part of the book, which is awesome. And I kind of find it crazy that Nizreen and Kabe, whatever or Jamshid's father, knew about Manaza. I feel like I'm saying all these names wrong. Knew about her still being alive. Now, we never got confirmation that Nahari was actually a blood relative of Manaza, because obviously, like, there are more of these Nahids than we actually knew existed. So yeah, it was pretty interesting. I'm not gonna lie, like, I didn't get super emotional while reading this book. I'm a very emotional person, and I tend to get very attached to people and characters and things, and that's one thing that, like, you know, I didn't find myself overly emotional while reading this. It is a very dense book with a lot of information. I feel like it's a great, like, first book to a trilogy. The one part, for some reason, that made me super emotional and upset in this book was when Kaiser, or whatever his name is, that big Perry bird thing, died. Like, it killed me for some reason. And I'm just, like, looking through my notes, and I, like, wrote that. And one of, like, one of my favorite lines in the entire book was when Kaiser was, like, about to die, and he told him to go he said, to Dara, he said, save your Nahid Afshin, it's your duty. And I was just like, oh, I got Jamshid right, yay! I'm improving. I'm sorry about this, guys, like, my neck is killing me. I have, like, a heating thing on it. Okay, so also let me know, like, what you guys think, because maybe I'm just an idiot, but, like, when the king saw Nahari and, like, saw her as a Deva and, like, a pureblood, should I say, instead of a Shafit, like, I totally believed him. And throughout the whole freaking book, I thought that she was a pureblood and that she was just cursed to look like a Shafit. And then I was just like, then at the very end, when the king mentions to her that she wasn't and that he made it all up, I was just like, I feel duped. Like, I totally believed him. And I don't know if everyone else believed him or if I'm just an idiot. Like, did Dara believe him? And did, like, everyone else believe him? I don't even know if Nahari believed him. Like, I'm shocked. Like, I was so shocked to find out that she wasn't actually a pureblood. And I don't know. Maybe I missed something in the story that gave it away. Hello, NNS. I'm just going through my notes. So if you guys have something you want to talk about, feel free to, like, pop in and say whatever and we can talk about it. Let's talk about how I think... Oh, you believed him too? Thank God I'm not the only one. Okay. So maybe it was a thing in this story that, like, you were supposed to believe that she was a pureblood, because... I mean, I guess, like, the way the other characters reacted, I didn't really get a sense that, like, he was lying. And he was just such a good actor in the book that I was just like, oh, this is the thing, like, she's a pureblood. So, thank goodness I wasn't the only one. I just, like, wrote myself a bunch of notes about, like, being confused about Dara as a character, because I feel like you don't really know anything about him for, like, a long time, and we still don't know a lot about him. And I really hope that that's something, because I do think he's going to make his big return, because, you know, that's kind of a thing in a lot of fantasy where like no main people die, and that's like I said, one of my main issues. Like I really think that Ali probably should have died, even though I like him as a character. I think he's a well written character. I guess Muntadir would have been a better death, because he still was a pretty main character. He's first in line to the throne, but I feel like someone kind of major and kind of emotional should have died in this book. Then again, Harry Potter, I mean, no one really major died in like the first few books, so I guess that's not a thing that has to happen to make a series good. But yeah, I hope that the next book clears some things up, but I agree. I don't know if like a lot of this stuff was confusing. What? Oh, he wanted to open a monster. I don't know if I find a ton of it super confusing. Like, I'm pretty much going through this and telling you guys what I thought was confusing, but I would like to know more about Dara's past. And like, even though I feel like this is a really like political book, I didn't find myself getting overly confused by the politics like I do sometimes in these like heavy political fantasy books. But I want to find out like what more about his past and more about like his slavery and stuff like that. Like I kind of want them to like talk about it. So I wrote how I thought Dara was kind of scary during that duel that he had with Ali. I also wrote how I was like shocked when Ali got hurt. When did he get hurt? How come I don't remember this? Oh, duh. He got like the attempt on his life by the Tanzim or whatever it was, on the roof, and like the water started healing him, and that was on page like 443. So it was kind of deep into the book, but I was like, since when does water heal this guy? Even though it was alright, so Charlie says, even though it was such a political dense book, I really liked that it wasn't an info dumpy book. The info was sprinkled all over the book, and I thought that was so... I really, really agree with that. And I think that's why I'm okay with the fact that it is a politically dense book, because it is sprinkled throughout it, and like I don't feel like it was overwhelming, because sometimes like these big fantasy novels that give you like a whole new like world, they will just info dump on you, and you're just like even though like I do have to say, like, I have mentioned this before, I don't remember where, but like the first 100 pages or so, I was like glued to this glossary in the back. I was like, because a lot of these terms and stuff I had never heard of, because I don't really like study like stuff like this, and I didn't know any of these terms, and like the different beings, because I don't read a lot of books about like jinn and genies and like what do you call it, like elemental beings and stuff. Like I don't know a lot of like that type of mythology, so I like the first 100 pages I was like completely glued to the glossary, and I was looking back at it like I feel like every 10 minutes I was looking up something in the glossary. I was like, what is this again? Oh yeah. And I wrote how I thought it was really cool that Dara could do the whole mind wish thing. I thought it was kind of messed up, and this is like another instance where like Dara could be kind of mean, and like I said, to Nahari, he's not really mean. So when it was just the two of them, I had like a way stronger connection to him, and like I really liked him as a character. But then like with the other Deva or Jinn or whatever they want to be called, like that woman Kanzada that was in like the brothel type place, he like spouts out her like deepest wishes and like totally throws her under the bus, and then he goes to throw Muntadir under the bus, and I was like, well, he's kind of mean. Like he's not very nice to these people. I mean, it's kind of uncalled for, but whatever. I do like also, this is a random thought, how this book is like I like the dual perspective. Like I thought the dual perspective between Nahari and Ali was really good. I guess I understood why the author chose Ali as like the second character. I think it would have been really cool to kind of sometimes see Dara's side, which I kind of secretly hoping that later on, like in the second or third book in the series, like we'll start seeing other people's perspectives and point of views. Like I want to know what Dara is seeing and feeling like while he's in this like limbo state that he's in like right now. Like I said, guys, if there's something you want to talk about, feel free to just like throw it in there. We could talk about it. I read the book having enough knowledge on the jinn, but I appreciate that it can be very confusing for some people. Yeah, like I've never read, I don't think, any books on this type of stuff. Like the only exposure I've ever gotten to elementals and jinn and anything like that is probably video games. Like
Aladdin.
That's not a video game.
Well, there is a video game. I didn't hear what you said. I just said Aladdin.
Oh. I mean, there is Aladdin-esque stuff in it. Like they ride magic carpets, and I mean the whole like slavery and wishes thing. But apparently they like the slaves, like people like Dara, they kill their owners or like their owners. So that was a twist. Maybe that does happen in other stories, but I think like video game wise, like you see stuff like that in like what's that video game?
Pokemon.
No, like the top-down view, like
Diablo.
Yeah. Diablo has some like elemental stuff in it. World of Warcraft, maybe. I don't remember, but I mean stuff like that. Like the only time I had ever really come across it was in video games. So, I just wrote about how Ali and Dara really hated one another, but I feel like Dara was way more brutal on that. Like,
wait, like Prince Ali?
His name is Ali, but it's Ali Zaid, I think. Ali Zaid or Zaid. Tell me if I'm saying that wrong. I would highly recommend you read the original City of Brass from 1001 Nights. I didn't know that was a thing. I've heard of 1001 Nights, but I've never read it. And I didn't know there was something called City of Brass in it. So I didn't even know that she had like kind of formed her story around that. So, okay, this is another question I had at like the end, or the big final scene at the end, which was so cool, by the way, like Dara turning like Super Saiyan and like killing everyone. But I'm kind of confused about how that warship, or all those warships and stuff, were outside, like, waiting for them. Because was it the fact, like, was there some sort of, like, magical connection with the boat rising and them getting alarmed some way? Or, like, Ali kept apologizing, so he obviously had something to do with it. What did he do to inform them that, like, these warships were coming? Like, I don't understand that whole part, I guess. I don't know, I'm so hesitant for them to make it into a movie. I'm always hesitant. Any book that I really enjoy, and like I said, like, I gave this a 4.5. I'm always hesitant for them to make it into a movie. I do feel it could be very beautiful. There is a lot of, like, descriptive writing, a very beautiful writing. This author, I think, is just, like, she's a really good author, and I'm, like, really shocked that this is her debut novel, like, her first novel, because it's really beautifully written. But I always get really nervous making stuff into movies, because when I really love something, I'm almost like, leave it alone, get people to read it, get them to listen to the audiobook. I kind of wish my husband would listen to this audiobook, because I want to know how he feels about it. I think he'd like it, right? Maybe I'll get it. But yeah, if anyone can, like, describe this whole warship thing to me, like, feel free to do so, because I don't know how that whole thing happened. Like, when did Ali have the chance to, like, warn them and, like, that they were leaving? I don't really get it. Okay. So throughout the book, it would be a great representation from Muslim mythology. I agree. Like, I really think this was a very diverse book. I'm gonna sneeze. Excuse me, my goodness. But I didn't really think about it when I was reading it, and I guess that's what makes like a great diverse book, is when there are there is a lot of diversity, but you don't even realize that the author's putting it in there, because I really feel that sometimes diverse books are like getting hit in the head with it. It's like, yeah, I get it, this book is diverse. Like, you don't have to keep throwing it in my face, but I feel like this author did a really great job at being diverse and not shoving it in your face. Thank you. I hate sneezing. I'm like sneezing, my dog's just looking at me like, will you stop? Hello, Sandy. So, okay, so this is another thought I had. If you guys want to jump in and talk about it. I kind of got confused about whether Dara was actually still a slave. Because throughout the book, up until like, this is page 473. I don't know if you guys want me to tell you the page numbers to kind of like, tell you where I'm talking about stuff. But page 473, when Nahari accidentally wishes something aloud and Dara kind of goes into crazy mode and like starts killing everybody, is he still a slave? Because up until this point I thought he wasn't a slave, and there was a big mystery surrounding how he got rid of his slave status, because you aren't supposed to be able to do it without a Nahid. So how did he lose his slave status? Like, what happened? And then
do you need me?
Yeah, can you look at the comments?
Check
so I thought he wasn't a slave anymore, because several times throughout the book they had mentioned like he's basically not a slave. They don't know how he got rid of his slave status, and there was a big like mystery surrounding that. So without a Nahid being around, and I guess this kind of answers it, like he's really still a slave, right? Because she was able to verbally, like, even though she wasn't his master, she was able to just say a wish, and because she meant it from the deepness of her heart, he went into slave mode and started like going crazy and killing a bunch of people. Regarding Dara, I'm very curious where she summoned him from. That's another thing, like I kind of wish they would like maybe later on talk about like his history and like where he was at that time, cuz is he going to be is he in that same state now? So is he in like some sort of limbo state? I don't know, because now it's a little different. He doesn't have the ring anymore technically, so what is he? Where is he? That's kind of a mystery. I don't know. And so I don't know where she summoned him from, because he did have the ring at the time. It wasn't severed from him, so he must have been in a different place than he is now. Okay, I kept thinking maybe he was Nahari's slave because she summoned him. Oh. See, this is why I love this type of stuff, because you guys are like blowing my mind. Like, maybe he is her slave in a sense, and she had just never verbally like spoken any wishes aloud. That's crazy. Like, that's awesome, and it just like blew my mind. Especially towards the end of the novel, on the boat, because it seemed he couldn't help but do whatever she wanted. Oh, Kristen, I didn't realize like you got disconnected. We had talked a lot, but if there's anything you want to talk about, feel free to just put it in there. I'm just gonna keep going through my tabs in the meantime, but if there's something you want to talk about, pop it in there. So we're talking about, like, people had mentioned, Charlie mentioned that she thought that Dara was Nahari's slave because she had summoned him. That's such a cool idea. I need to write this down because that totally makes sense. And, like, it also makes sense why at the end she's able to cast that wish. So thank you for clearing that up. I also wrote that I thought it was really awesome and cool that, like, he's so powerful. And I don't know if it's his age and, like, because he's been around for so long, he's just so good at magic that he was able to, like, when all those arrows were coming at him and he stopped them in midair and, like, sent them back, I was like, haha, that's so cool. You agree that's a high possibility of being... But maybe I'm just dumb. Like, I didn't even think about that. Like, it wasn't even a thing. I was thinking, like, I thought he wasn't a slave to anyone anymore because everyone kept saying that he wasn't a slave anymore and they didn't know how he stopped being a slave because there was no Nahid to get rid of that slave status. But I for some reason it never crossed my mind that he was still a slave of some sort. But yeah. That's cool. I talked about, again, like, how I totally guessed that Jamshid and Muntadir were lovers, which is cool. Like I said, again, it's another one of those, like, diversity things that the author put in there, but it wasn't, like, how we talked about the high possibility of Jamshid and Muntadir. It's so funny, because I literally just started talking about this, because I wrote it down on page 476. But yeah, I totally guessed, like, really early on in the book that they were a thing. Like, they had made some subtle hints that they were a thing, and, like, just the way that, like, Muntadir would talk about his best friend, and, like, he did it with such, like, heartfelt warmth and stuff, and I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Because I don't feel like my husband would feel that way toward any of his best friends and, like, talk about them in that way. So that's why I kind of felt like there was something else going on between the two of them. Okay. Until I started shipping Dara hardcore, at first all I could think of was Gronk from the Emperor's New Groove. Kind of goofy, kind of dumb. That's so funny. I kind of just thought of him as just this, like, very stoic, like, you know, flat affect type of person. Like, you know, like, he didn't really have a personality to me yet. So I could see why you thought that. Hello, Nib. I hope that doesn't mean he will have to kill Nahari to be free. But that's just it, because, I mean, was he ever really free? Because I thought you needed a Nahid around to get rid of a slave status. Which is why there was that whole, like, confusion in the book through many people. They didn't know how he could not be a slave anymore, even though now you guys are giving me the idea that maybe he wasn't really freed. But apparently he had killed all of his masters previous, so it doesn't free him from slavery. Maybe it just puts him in this limbo state in between masters until someone else summons him or whatever. But he also mentions that, like, the Ifrit use the jinn or the devas to enslave them for humans. So it's normally humans that keep these jinn as slaves, right? I don't know. But I hope he does. I mean, he will have to kill Nahari, right? If at some point. But we don't know why. Like, we don't know what causes these jinn to have to kill the masters. Like, why? Like, is it once their wishes are up? Or what happens? Is it, like, is it something that they wish for and they're not careful enough about the way they word it, and they're not careful enough with the way they wish it, that it ends up killing them inevitably? So we don't know, like, why these masters die. Muntadir and Jamshid kind of reminded me of Rhea and Alucard from A Darker Shade of Magic, so I feel like I picked up on that early. Oh, I never read Darker Shade of Magic. I really did not like The Savage Song by Victoria Schwab, so I've been really, really putting off A Darker Shade of Magic. So, someone did tell me on this once, I forget who, they said that A Darker Shade of Magic is better. So I do plan on picking it up eventually, but I haven't read it. Yes, they were subtle. I called it back but felt verified as we got to an end. Madara was looking to Mutadir's wishes. Yeah, that's plain clue. Yes, oh my god. Jamshid's, like, reaction to... No. Muntadir's reaction to Jamshid getting injured / he thought he was dead, that was kind of sad. But, like I said, I'm a very emotional person, and it didn't really, like kill me emotionally, but I think that's just because I didn't really care about Muntadir that much. I know, that was so cute when he had their hands intertwined when the father walked in. But that's when you also find out that Jamshid is a Nahid, right? That's really cool. And, like, he has a mark that apparently is keeping his powers in check. And for some reason, that mark in my head is, what, Meek? That mark in Naruto, what's that mark that they have in their eyes? The 3 things and this... son of a gun. Look it up. But it reminds... I don't know if any of you have ever watched Naruto, but the...
Starts with an S.
What is that character's name?
Sasuke.
Yeah, what does... Uchiha clan. Like, the Uchihas have it. Okay. Maybe he won't have to kill her if she can find his relic and save him. Maybe. That's a good idea. I mean, the relic is around, and only Ali and Muntadir and the king know where it is, right? Well, so, that we know of. They're good, very different from the Savage song. Okay, well, I'll take your word for it, because this Savage song just, like, I couldn't connect with any of the characters. Hello, Rylan. What's the name of that thing in the Uchiha's eyes? I'm...
Sharingan?
Sasuke, yeah, but Sharingan? No, is it? Yeah, the Sharingan eyes. So, like, for some reason, that mark that Jamshid has on him that's keeping his Nahid powers in check. Yes, this is, like, for some reason, when they, described it, I thought of, like, the Sharingan eye. Here. That. I could be totally wrong, but... Hi, Leonard. Messaging all my responses to Kivox from your last live stream. Poop and fart. That was crazy last night. Alright, as annoying as he is at times, I think I like Ali best, but Jamshid was a solid character from what we saw of him. Nahari is okay, but honestly not my favorite. She's not my favorite either. I feel like the most interesting character right now is Dara, because he's still very, like, we don't know much about him and his past, and, like, there's so much mystery surrounding Dara. But Nahari's not my favorite either, but she's not a bad character. I think, like, as long as characters are well developed and well written, you don't have to love the characters for it to be a really good book. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Like, it does make it better when you do fall in love with a character, but it's not necessary. And, like, I feel like as long as you have really great written characters, you can still connect very strongly with books. Like, whether you can, like, super love things and super hate things. I want to read A Darker Shade of Magic too. I just gotta get around to do it. You really liked Ali? I think he needs more love. He does. Like, he does. I like him as a character, and I liked reading from his point of view. I didn't have anything against him. I never thought about the whole, like, Nahari's character changing that much. But I guess you're right. In the beginning, she was very, like, I don't care about anything. I'm going to do what I want. And then towards the end, she was kind of, like, docile. I could see that. We do not have a book chosen for next month. I did pick 3 that we're going to vote on, but I didn't even put the vote up yet. I like Dara a lot until the end. My opinion is tilting on him. That's what we talked about before. I don't know if you were here. That, like, Dara, he did some really scary things that, like, really kind of skewed my thoughts on him. Like, I literally, like, his fight with Ali and how brutal he was both times. Like, when they were just sparring, he was super brutal. And in front of Nahari, like, they were super brutal. he was just so mean to him. And then the whole interaction when they were in that like brothel house, and he was like talking about that woman's deepest wishes right in front of Muntadir, and then he was talking about Muntadir's love for Jamshid. It was kind of like messed up. Like Darius does some really messed up stuff. Do I like Sasuke or Naruto more? Naruto is like
Sasuke is emo.
Sasuke is emo, but he's a cool character.
Yeah, he was cool until he became like a little whiny.
My Naruto is a very loving character. I like
Naruto
him.
is like Goku.
Yeah.
And what's his face? Luffy. Like, they're just great characters.
I like to drag.
And Naruto is like Harry Potter, by the way. At least the first couple seasons.
What?
It's like exactly the same.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That's an interesting thought on characters, Meek. Man, I'm blah, blah, blah. What? Wait. I feel you, Charlie Tango. I wish the book... I finished... Dude, I literally finished the book like 2 hours before today because like this book, it took me way longer to finish than I thought it was. I kind of felt betrayed by Dara at the end too, but at the same time, when he goes into like his slave like superpower mode, like he doesn't know what he's doing. Like if you remember like the visions that Nahari saw when she touched his ring were the only visions that he remembered of being a slave. So when he's in that slave mode, he doesn't remember anything. Slowly getting through Mistborn. Mistborn's great. I love that book. Yeah, I know. I want him back in book 2 too. Like, I hope it happens quickly, and I want to read in his point of view. I know, that brothel scene was so mean, but it was really cool at the same time. Like, the fact that he is able to, like, read people's deepest desires, but it doesn't seem that it's, like, super easy for him, because if you remember, he was, like, grabbing his head right before he did it. Like, he has to switch, like, something on to be able to do it, in my opinion. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. That's why I can't fully form on him being good or bad. He was very cruel at times when he probably didn't need to be. Yes, I mean, you're right. So, he doesn't remember anything when he's in, like, slave mode. But at the same time, when he's just his normal self walking around, he is so cruel for, like, no reason. Like, Muntadir and, like, Jamshi, they weren't being exactly super nice to him, but they weren't doing anything to provoke, like, that type of that much cruelty. I can't talk. Oh, I'm glad we read it too. I'm glad you guys liked it because, or what did you rate it, Kristen? Oh, you gave it a 4, right? I'm super excited. I started like, there is a name for the second book, but there is like not even a projected date for it to come out. Like I actually looked yesterday. It's called The Kingdom of Copper is going to be book 2, but she's still writing it, so who the hell knows when it's actually going to come out. I feel like his powers kept increasing once he got back into Devabad. They could have kept increasing, or they were just showing different things that they didn't show before. Like the whole wish reading thing, like, we had never seen him go into that, like, super slave mode, so maybe that was just it too. I don't know.
You want to sneakily pass me those?
Oh, I don't know if I can.
Right here.
Oh. Don't drop them. Okay, alright, I'm missing stuff. I'm not sure I would have picked this up without the book club. Oh, that's cool. I already owned the book, so I knew that I wanted to read it, but honestly, like, I did not know it was going to be this crazy and epic. I just thought it was, like, a young adult fantasy, but I don't think this is young adult. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think so. Another side note, I did see the second book for the Mortal Coil. I think you sent me something on Twitter, right? I did look at it. I'm sorry if I didn't respond. It's like, it's got a blue cover this time. I'm pretty excited to see what happens next in this Mortal Coil. Maybe, I was kind of thinking about this, and maybe on this book channel and this live stream, this book club, like, people that have been here for a while, if you want to read like the second book, maybe we could do like a 2-book per month thing anytime like a sequel comes out to a series that we've previously read on this channel. But that's just, you know, a maybe. It scared me too much at first. Like, he noticed something was up once he walked through the gates, and then towards the end, when he turned into such a cruel djinn, he seemed so surprised. The Copper Kingdom. Yeah, it was the Copper Kingdom. Yeah, I never thought about that, Amy, but, you know, I could see where you're coming from. He did seem to kind of gain power and stuff, like, as it went on. What is it about Mistborn do you like the most? My apologies if I'm crashing. No, it's fine.
Who's that, Leonard?
Yeah, I think, like...
That jerk!
I think what I like most about it is probably, like, the magic system. And I like the main character a lot. I do. Like, I feel like she's a pretty badass, like, chick character that grew up in a crazy thing. But, like, I like the magic system, and, like, I just like Brandon Sanderson's writing. The Kingdom of Copper sounds like it may take place in the city of Zara. Is there... Yeah, how does... Zariaspa or something like that. Nahari's mom, maybe. What's going on with you? Well, Nahari's mom, they basically confirmed it in the last, literally the last page, 526, that Nizreen and Kaveh, or however you say his name, know that Maniza is still alive and in Zarispa. I don't know. I don't know how to say half this stuff. 2019. That's so long. I wonder if it had to do with his persona. Oh, his proximity to his relic. Dude, you come up with a lot of good stuff. I never would have thought of that. It could be. Because you said he was confused by his power, like, kind of increasing? I don't know. I think I'll need to join the book club. I'm not sure how well I'll do. Perhaps when you guys start a brand new book with a subject that appeals to me. Maybe do a new book every month. Give me that.
Just put it right there. Just put it right there.
But yeah. I also wrote somewhere in one of my things, like, I had totally forgotten that the Suleiman, or whatever his name is, the seal, could, like, stop magic, essentially. Like, I totally forgot that. So, like, when Ali showed up on the boat, possessed by the Marid, and he had that seal, I was like, why is everyone getting all, like, tripped up by this seal? And then I remembered, like, oh, yeah. I'm obsessed with this book. I'm so excited to have people to talk about with it. Oh, it's awesome.
I have an idea. If anybody ever has any suggestions for the next month, they could always tweet you, maybe like at Meekachii Book Club or something like that, and then you could just you know, at least look into the book so that it could be an option. So, let's do that.
What did you never think of, Kristen? I forgot what I already said. I'm so bad at this.
Well, watch the light. I'm breaking it. Oh, it's gonna fall on you.
I'm glad you guys are liking the book club. That makes me happy, because, like, I really always wanted to, like, talk with people about books, and, like, no one I know reads the same type of books. It is more fun when you can discuss it. I agree.
The thing is ready. Whenever you are, I have it ready to post.
So. Okay. Yeah, so I also wrote on here, maybe, like, he could come back to life if he had his relic, but then I forgot that he doesn't have his vessel anymore. So, like, his ring is off, but they think Maniza can bring him back with the ring. Relic helping him get more powerful, being inspired. Oh, I didn't say that. I'm not that good. Okay, I get it. I got so confused for a second. Oh my god, I'm sorry, guys. Because Amy on here said that, but my name's Amy too, in case you guys didn't know that. But
Wait, your name is Amy?
So that's why I got so confused. Like, I was like, I didn't say that. What did I say? But no, Amy said it. Got it. You guys just call me Meek because I'm gonna get confused. Or Meekachii. Meekachii. Anyone like Ali? I liked Ali. I thought he was a good character.
Was he a prince?
He was.
Prince Ali.
He was a prince. He wasn't anything like
Aladdin.
His name was Ali Zaid. Ali Zaid.
Is it Alibaba? Alibaba?
Hi, fellow Amy. That's why I was getting so confused. I'm not used to like.
Was Amy here yesterday too for the stream yesterday?
I don't remember.
There wasn't Amy in the stream yesterday. That's why I was asking.
Oh.
And you were like, Amy, that's a good name. And I was like, no.
Hello. Alright, and then I wrote about how I got fooled by the whole, like, the king saying that she was a pureblood, but she wasn't really a pureblood. That was crazy. Like, my mind was just, like, blown. I just got coffee everywhere.
Yo.
Yo. Alright. Sometimes I just write myself, like, information so I don't forget it. Unrealistically, all I want is Ali and Nahari to be together. Really? I feel like they would be a better pair possibly than ruling Daevabad, but I don't want Muntadir to die because of it. I don't care about Muntadir. I don't know. Like, he bugs me as a character. Like, I think, like, I think you missed this, but, like, I kind of wished that he had just died in, like, because I was kind of salty about, like, nobody dying. Because I feel like this book had such an epic ending that, like, somebody should have died. Like, someone kind of major. And I feel like if anyone had to do it, like, it probably should have been Muntadir. But, I don't know, I didn't really love him as a character. I mean, while reading it, I did think maybe Nahari and Ali would have, like, a thing. And I wouldn't be totally against it. Like, I think that might be cool. But there's just something about, like, Dara and Nahari together, like, for the first half of the book, them together was, like, so cute. And I kind of just, I'm still, like, loving it. Hello, Panda. She thought we were the only people shipping them. I don't hate the idea of Ali Nahari, but I'm also still not sure if the king is Nahari's dad. What king?
King Ali, fabulous he, Ali Ababwa.
So wait, you think that maybe... I didn't even think this. Dude, this chick Amy, she's got good ideas.
Yo, Amy, son.
Right?
Check it.
So you think that Ghassan, or whatever his name is, Ghassan, that king, like, might be her father? And what, Manasa is, like, the mother? Which make Jamshid the brother?
You're blowing my mind right now.
That's my one hesitation. We need to know who her dad is first. We need to know who her mom is. I mean, right now everyone's just assuming it's what's her name? Manasa. But, like, we don't really know, I don't think. Ali's dad. I don't want Ali to have to kill him in order to become king. It would be playing into the second son stereotype. But yeah, Muntadir isn't on my to save list. He can go. Like, I kind of wish that, like, Dara had killed him in that big fight when he went nuts. Based on the comments about the dad and Nahari's mom, like how the king loved her, blah blah blah. But I still don't know who Jamshid's mother is, or Jamshid, because clearly Kaveh, he's the father, but who was the Nahid mother? I guess it didn't have to be Manasa, because, I mean, there were other Nahids around, but I want to kind of know who his mother was, because I don't think it is Manasa, because they don't really hint at that at the end, and it seems like I cannot remember these people's names. it seems that Nizreen and Kaveh they knew a lot about what was going on behind the scenes, and they did not mention Jamshid being Manas's son. So I don't think he is. I thought the same thing because he was obsessed with Nahiri's mom. I could see that. How maybe her mom is Manasa and the father is King Ghassan or whatever his name is. See, like, this is why I love this book club, because I would never have thought that. It just didn't... Me. Were you guys like me and you read, like, the glossary 5 million times throughout reading this? Because I must have looked at it, like, so many times, especially the first 100 pages. Jamshid could be a cousin, but I think he may have to be a brother because her mom and uncle were the last two. And Jamshid is around Nahari's age. I don't know, like, if they would be related, because that would mean Manasa would have to be his mother, if that's where we're going with this. And I don't think she is. Because the two people at the end, Nareen and Kaveh, would have known. See, Meek, if this stuff happens, you would have been so shocked in the next book. I would have been. Like, I'm not one of those people that's, like, super good at predicting stuff. Like, my husband's really good at that, but I'm not very good at that. Like, I've just never been good at predicting things. I can predict certain things, but I don't go into a book, like, trying to predict stuff, because I feel like it ruins, like, the experience for me. So I kind of just read it as it is. If I happen to predict something, I happen to. But I don't go into it, like, trying to. It's like, I'm not really good at stuff like that. Oh, thank God I'm not the only person that was, like, killing the glossary reading it. I literally, like, took pictures of the glossary on my phone to make it easier to just, like, look at that and compare it while I was reading, so I didn't have to keep flipping through the book. Meek, if this stuff happened, you would have been oh, right, you read that. It's been a long time. It's been a long time since I had to do that with a book too, but I guess that's just because I haven't been reading a lot of, like, super dense fantasy lately. Like, I do want to get more into fantasy, and that is a big reason why I picked this up, because I kept hearing it was really good fantasy. And, like, I have so many fantasy books that I want to pick up and get into, and, like, I end up loving them usually. Like, I really love fantasy, and I feel like I want to read more of it. I've kind of steered away from that a lot. So, let's talk about the book options for next month. Making flashcards, that's not a bad idea. Well, I mean, that's kind of what I do, right? Like, I do these tabs, which a lot of times is, like, me just giving information to myself in case I forget stuff. Sometimes I just write it down so I remember. Sometimes it's just my thoughts. But yeah, like, flashcards are not a bad idea. After you told me about the glossary, I went over it for about 30 minutes, and then it was pretty good. I was scared I wouldn't get it too. I was like, am I too dumb for this book? I was like, this book is so dense. Like, I feel like maybe I'm too stupid for it, because I kept having to look back at the glossary. But I kind of have a better memory when it comes to listening to things. So I feel like if I had listened to it in an audiobook format, I might have understood it faster. But I'm already listening to something on audiobook, and I didn't have time to do both before the end of the month, so. Are we supposed to assume that Jamshid is a Nahid based on the comments between... Yes, so I think they pretty much come out and say that he is a Nahid. So yeah, like, I think we are supposed to have that, that assumption. I have issues with high fantasy because of that too. I know, but they're always so good. Not always, but most of the time I end up really loving them. To everyone, what makes a good fantasy? What makes a good fantasy? That's a good question. I think really great world building, really great characters. But that's anything. I mean, that's any book, really. I don't know. There's something about magic and fantasy that I really love. Like, they don't even necessarily have to have specific types of creatures. Like, some people love fantasy with, like, dragons, and some with fairies, and some with this and that. But I don't really care about the type of creatures as long as it's got great world building, magic development, and characters. That's asking a lot, though. I think it was because it was such a new world and so many new things and cultures, it was denser for me and harder to grasp. I agree, too. Hi, Siprick. But I agree, because I mentioned this earlier, that I just, like, I've never read anything like this. So, like, everything was so new to me, because I've never read anything, like, based in this atmosphere, in this setting, and anything about elementals and jinn and devas and... Oh, I was talking about video games that I had played that had stuff like this in it. What was that game that we played where we could fly? The MMO.
Ion.
Oh yeah, Ion. That had like elementals and devas.
Or Aeon. I'm not sure how to say it.
Remember they would go Deva.
Oh yeah, you're right. They were like angels.
Yeah.
And you couldn't actually fly for the longest time. You
could
glide.
Alright, so you think need to be able to be dropped into the world and get it from early on. I don't want the world to be so completely different. So you like urban fantasy, kind of? Or no, that doesn't have to be urban fantasy. Because I kind of feel... No. I don't know. This one, though, like... This world was completely different to me. Even though it kind of is set in our world, but kind of... I kind of got the impression that this was kind of like a Harry Potter thing, right? Where all these creatures live amongst the human world, but you don't see them. And you don't... Like, the humans physically cannot see them. So I feel like, even though this is set in our world, it was so unlike anything that I've really, like, read that it was hard for me to grasp a lot of it. Wait, I forgot to tell you, after you took off the front jacket, I realized that the pages were upside down and backwards from the way the hardcover was printed. Really? Mine's not like that, I don't think. No, mine's not like that. Mine's printed right. You got, like, a...
No, that's a special one.
Yeah, that's a special one. Don't get rid of that book. Because mine's definitely not printed like that. You like easy fantasy. I know, a lot of people, like, I've been watching, like, a lot of BookTube lately, and, like, people are, like, super hating on Sarah J. Maas lately. Like, I don't know. I like her books. Maybe I'm just a weirdo. Like, but... I don't hate them. Like, so many people love to hate Sarah J. Maas lately, and I'm kind of really excited about the next book she has coming out soon. Like, you can't compare Tolkien to Sarah J. Maas. I get it. Tolkien, honestly, like, I love the movies and stuff, and I love the world that he created, but he kind of, the writing bores me. I had to go back. I got it from Book of the Month, but they were all out of copies, so they're sending me Ready Player One for free. Nice. That's a good book. Hi, Gamer Player. It's great, guys, because when I'm writing, I'm world building, and there's so much to do. It's crazy, Kristen. What's the name of this book? It's called The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. I don't think my problem with Tolkien is the different world, because, like, I used to watch the movies. I did read Lord of the Rings long time ago, and I really don't remember much about it, because it just really isn't for me. Like, it's really, really detailed and boring, and, like, I cannot, like, read it again. I do appreciate it. I understood it when I read it. I really liked the world. I think I was more confused about it when I read it, because then later when I watched the movies kind of, like, solidified my thoughts on certain things. So I feel like it is a kind of a confusing world, but I don't think I'll ever, like, read it again. Reading Queen of Shadows. I feel like I should know what that is. Do I have it? I don't know. Let me look this up. Oh, I'm really stupid. We're talking about Sarah J. Maas, right? Queen of Shadows was actually my favorite Sarah J. Maas book ever. Which is weird, I know, because it's like the fourth one in like the Throne of Glass series. I actually really, really, really loved, was it called Assassin's Blade? Where it was like the 5 short stories about Selena. I really liked the short story like compilation, and I really liked Queen of Shadows. Like I couldn't remember the name apparently, but I really liked that one. You got Starbucks. Unpopular opinion alert. I can't watch Lord of the Rings movie. I fall asleep every single time, so I get it. My husband does not like the movies at all. Like, he just doesn't like them. But I love the movies. Like, when I was like a teenager / early 20s, like I watched the movies a lot, and I really liked Lord of the Rings. But the books bore me. Like, I don't know if I could really watch the movies like I used to now. I just don't have time. I listened to a sample of City of Brass from my library, and it seemed like it would be a good audiobook. I wish I had checked it out sooner so I could read and listen. Yeah, so book 4, Throne of Glass. I liked that one for some reason. I can't spoil anything. Message me on Twitter when you're done reading that one, and I could tell you why I liked that one. But it's also the reason why a lot of people didn't like that one. But my name is Meekachii on Twitter, so find me and message me when you're done reading it. I've only read Throne of Glass from her, and that's it, but I do want to read all of her books since I hear relatively good things, and I like Throne of... I honestly did not like Throne of Glass. I felt like it was by far my least favorite book. I feel like, even though there was some good stuff in it, it was just a fantasy that had been done, like a young adult fantasy, and like so many tropes that had been done a million times, and I feel like she has just grown so much as a writer since that, and like her world is very dense, and like pretty much anytime a new book comes out, I remember nothing about the world, and I'm having to like relearn everything. I've not read any Sarah J. Maas yet. I keep putting it off because there's so many out. I'm so behind. I honestly, pretty much every single Sarah J. Maas book, I just listen to the audiobooks. They have really good audiobook narrators, so I just listen to it while I'm working. What books would I recommend? What kind of books do you like? This one's really good that we just read. It's upside down. I love Kivox in the back. All the faces he makes. They need to make a movie about Gandalf and the other wizards. Oh, like Gandalf the Grey turning into like Gandalf the White and stuff.
And Dumbledore. Give me a Dumbledore movie any day. That's what we're gonna get, hopefully, with Fantastic Beasts 2. What?
Yeah. I know, a lot of people hate Sarah J. Maas lately. I think it's like the situation where they're just loving to hate her. And they just love to hate. They say there's no diversity, which is bogus. Like, honestly, what was her best friend's name in the first and second book? First book? Like, she literally was a diverse character, and it was Selena's best friend, and it was like one of the first books. Like, and everyone hates her, saying that like she has no diversity in her books. I'm just like, you worry too much. You don't have the Court of Thorns and Roses and the Throne of Glass series are 2 completely different series, and she says I think that the worlds can intertwine, and later on she's going to make them intertwine, but they're completely different. So if you want to just read the Court of Thorns and Roses, you can, and like that trilogy, and the 4th one is coming out soon, but it's like through different characters, and it's not a direct like sequel to the trilogy, I don't think. I would say I feel like I'm such an easy reader. I easily like most books. I don't give many books under 3 stars. I used to not until I started reading some really crappy books. I feel like doing booktube, I do sometimes get books sent to me, and like they're not always very good. So that's a lie, because everyone loves Gone Girl, and that's like one of my most hated books of all time. I think I gave that a 1 star. Like, I freaking hated Gone Girl, and I read that of my own accord. So I absolutely don't have trouble giving books low ratings if I don't like them. Um, a TV series on Middle Earth. I thought you were gonna say Throne of Glass because I think they are making a TV series on Throne of Glass. I think it's a Hulu series. Fantasy and fiction. If you like fantasy, this book we read is really good. Other fantasy books, I really like R.A. Salvatore's books and basically the Legend of Drizzt series. Like, I love those. What other fantasy books do I read? I'm drawing a blank here. I have to think about it. Nehemia, yes, that was the character. Not every book has to represent every single thing, but yeah, in Throne of Glass, her best friend was diverse, and I think some of the criminals were too. Yeah, like, I agree, Kristen, because that's something that's, like, really starting to piss me off on BookTube, and, like, maybe I should make a video about this, but I feel like so many people are like, everything has to be diverse nowadays, and if like a author doesn't write a book that's diverse, it's like the end of the world. And like, people get too offended by stuff, and they get like way too like into that stuff. Like, if it's diverse, if not, who cares if it's a good book? Like, I don't feel like that makes or breaks a book for me. And like, I don't feel like every book on the earth has to be diverse, and it's starting to get on my nerves because it's like a huge thing right now. Hi, Professor Sneep. I am in live with your insight and thoughts. Yeah, are you on Goodreads, Amy? I gotta follow you too. So, alright, I'm gonna talk about the 3 books I picked for. So, basically, I'm cheating a little bit, and I hope you guys don't hate me for this, but I received 2 ARCs. Both of these books come out on March 6th, so they're relatively early on in the month, where we should be able to like realistically read them by the due date, by the live stream date. But they are honestly both books that I really, really, really want to read, because I do have other ARCs for books that do come out in March that I am not putting as options on here because I don't want to read them as much. But these 2 I specifically asked for, and like, I really want to read them. So the first book, I'm going to put this down for now. The first book that I asked for, that I still don't know how I feel about this book. I feel like it could go either way. It might be really bad, or it might be really good. It honestly has pretty darn good ratings on Goodreads, but I don't know, can't always like go by the ratings on Goodreads. But it has really good ratings so far, and I kind of have my hopes high. And it's To Kill a Kingdom by Alexander Christo. So this is basically a story about a siren who's like the most lethal siren of them all. She has the hearts of 17 princes in her collection, and she's revered across the sea. Until a twist of fate forces her to kill one of her own. To punish her daughter, the Sea Queen transforms Lyra into the one thing sirens loathe most, a human. So it's basically kind of like, sounds like a Little Mermaid slash like super dark Little Mermaid story, sort of. I don't know. It's about sirens, and it seemed really cool. I don't know. It might not be that great. The second book I picked, so that one comes out March 6th. Oh, it's on your TBR? Awesome. The second book I picked that comes out March 6th is Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. And I've heard so much great things about this book. Like, it is a really big book, I'm not gonna lie. It's like almost 600 pages. So it'd be kind of a big one to get through this month, but I mean, I have to read it because I requested it, and it does come out in early March. But this book just, I feel like it has so many 5-star reviews and so much hype, and people say it's really, really, really good. So I don't know if my hopes are just like way up there for this one. But from what I understand, it's a very magic-driven story, and it's set in West Africa or something. So there used to be magic, there's no longer magic. Everything changed the night magic disappeared. Under the orders of a ruthless king, Magi were targeted and killed. She has a chance to bring back magic. I don't know. It sounds very, like, typical YA, but people are going nuts for this book, and it sounded really cool. Both of these books are in your TBR. Dude, they are very hyped. I know 600 pages is a lot, but, I mean, I have to read it no matter what, and I figured it's got a lot of hype, and it's really, like... people are talking so much about that book that I just wanted to give it to you guys as an option. Then the third option we have, I chose Nevermore, The Trials of Morrigan Crow by Jessica Townsend. I got this book a while ago, but I've been hearing about it a lot lately, and it's about, I don't know what it's about. I forget now. Let me see. So, Morrigan Crow was born on the most unlucky day for any child to be born, blamed for all local misfortunes, blah, blah, blah. I think people reference this book to Harry Potter all the time, and they say it's on a Harry Potter par level of, like, good. Wait, I can't talk. They say it's basically as good as Harry Potter. It's a middle grade novel. It's got, like, 400 pages, but it is a middle grade novel, so it's going to be a bit easier to read. But I hear such amazing things. I don't know. So you guys have to let me know. Did you put up the thing?
I'll do it right now.
He's going to put up the...
It's not the same way. We're doing it differently this time.
Okay? Oh. We're doing it differently. I don't know how it's going to work.
It's going to be better. I hope. I lost it. Oh,
that's on your TBR too? I wanted to read Nevermore. I didn't even know it was in an Owl Crate Junior box. So yeah, like I said, these first two, so To Kill a Kingdom and...
Oh no, it didn't work. Don't click on that. Tell them not to click
Don't click on it. I guess it doesn't work, so don't click on it. So To Kill a Kingdom and The Children of Blood and Bone, these both come out on the 6th. So you can't even start reading them until the 6th. But they're both ones that I need to read, like, very soon. And then this one's been out for a while, so you can find this one. This one's really thick, but... supposedly it's super epic. Can we vote for all three? I mean, I have to read these two this month, so if you guys want to read both of these this month...
I don't know why this isn't working. Hold on, I gotta figure this out.
It's not working, apparently, so don't click on those.
I mean, it'll bring... I mean, tell them to click on it. Maybe it'll work for them, but it's not working for me. It's bringing me to a... whoops, page.
Oh. Can someone...
They heard me, probably.
Oh.
Go check it out.
So yeah, I have to read these two. If you guys want to read both of these and we can, try to do a live stream on them, we can. But yeah. Once we get the voting up, you guys can vote on which one we read. This live stream was a long one. Usually the book streams aren't this long. I don't know if I'm going to finish Nevermore, to be honest. Like, I could probably finish these first two. But finishing these two and Nevermore, that might be hard for me. So, like, if you want to do multiple books, like, I would say these two, because I have to read them for review purposes, but, yeah, I don't think I could do all three. I'm going to start school on March 5th, and I have 2 classes, so it's going to be too much. What's going on?
Just don't worry about it. Just keep talking to them.
So, yeah.
Did they say anything about it working or not?
No. Did any of you try clicking on those poll links and, like, see if they actually work? I know I told you not to click on them, but I guess he wants someone to click on it and see if it actually works or not.
Yeah, I don't get why it's not working, because if I copy and paste it, no, it doesn't work. Never mind. I'm an idiot.
It's not working?
No. I don't know why.
I hate hearing about kitty friends dying. I lost my kitty Pint. He was such a good cat. I wonder where Oswin is. She's usually over here.
She's probably sleeping. It's sleep time.
They said it's not working.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Dude, just do it the way you usually do it.
It's a lot harder to do it that way. Yeah, I don't get it. It like works if I just copy and paste it into the thing, but for some reason, if I put it in the chat, it doesn't do anything. It's really weird. Let me see. Okay, that time it worked. Try it again. Try it again. I think I got it. Figured it out.
Go Kivox, they're rooting you on. Kristen said, poor Kivox, you're trying so hard.
I was copying the thing that was like share, right? And it has a copy button on there. So I clicked on that, and then I would paste that into the thing. It didn't work. So I physically had to copy it, like highlight it, and then copy it. And then it seems like it worked. I don't know.
Can someone let us know if it worked?
Nope, never mind. It stopped working.
Dude, just put it the old way.
I am a jerk. It's just, everybody's going to have to refresh. I'm trying to figure out a way to make them not refresh. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you guys want to just write which one?
Oh, doing it the old school
Old
way,
school way. You should make a TBR jar and pull one book a month and read whatever it is. I feel bad doing that, though, because I'm not giving you guys a choice. At least I feel with voting, like, going with the majority, we may not pick the book you really wanted, but, like, at least it's more fair. I don't know. Yeah, they're saying the link doesn't work.
I know. I can read it, all right?
Man, he's so mean.
I just don't get why it's not working.
Yeah, do you guys want to do it old school and just kind of, like, say which one you want to read? I kind of feel bad because the other way it's more anonymous. So then, like, I don't know. Me pick. That's my phone that just went flying. How did that happen?
I don't know, dude. I can't move, though.
Dude, you gotta move.
I physically cannot move. I don't work.
Huh! I got it. Just for you, the TBR jar? Man, well, it seems like people want me to pick, and I feel kind of bad.
If everybody wants you to pick, just pick, dude.
I mean, I kind of feel bad because the one I want to read the most...
You just don't want to decide.
...is this huge one.
Oh.
It's 600 pages. I mean, the words are kind of big. But I kind of feel bad because it doesn't even come out until March 6th, so people can't... But look how big the words are. Like, I don't feel like that's going to take forever for people to read. It's nowhere near as dense as this other book. So I think definitely this one then. If you guys want me to pick, it's upside down. If you guys want to do a second book, I'm going to have to do this one as well anyway. So like if you guys want to do a second live stream with this one, we could do that. But since this one is so big, like if you guys just want to read this book, I'm down for it. And then let me see when it would be. Oh, it wouldn't be until March 31st. I picked the children book, so I'm good with that. Alright, so we'll read... We'll read Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. So we'll do the live stream March 31st. I'll do a video quickly, too. But March 31st at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard.
It seems like if you were to copy that link and paste it into the URL,
well,
it'll work.
We already chose it.
So you're telling me to shut up? Is that what
Yeah.
you're saying? All right.
It comes out March 6th. I'm pretty sure it comes out March 6th. Let me double check. apparently on Goodreads there's a sneak peek if you want to start reading it now. But yeah, March 6th. So yeah, we will read this one then.
So is that what we're doing?
Yeah, I'm like skimming through this, and it's another one where I have no idea how to say any of these names, so that's going to be interesting.
That's the best. I'll put a link to it in the description.
So yeah.
Did you hear it? Tell him that.
He said he will put a link to it in the description.
Hopefully that one works. God damn it.
Well, that's an Amazon link, right?
Yeah, I'm going to put a link in the description. Or I'll put it right here. Let's see if this one works. Did it send? Bet you it won't work. Oh, it worked. All right, cool. I'll put it in the description though too.
It'll probably be cheapest to get it on Amazon.
That's right. I just put a link to Amazon.
I know. I saw it.
Jeez.
Shoot. I have to cancel my pre-order. Gamer Player says the live stream yesterday was funny and entertaining. 448 pages. Really? Oh, like the final book? This is the arc of it. This one's 600. I'm not lying. Can you read it? Don't read the ending, though. I just realized I was showing you the very last page of the book. Does it? Usually these arcs say... Oh, yeah, hardcover, 448 pages. Look at that. So, yeah, that will be more doable than 600 pages. But this one, too, like I said, the words are pretty big. Like, they're almost like double spaced. I don't think it's going to be that bad. $13, that's not bad. Alright, that's cool. I think we're going to wrap this up. Like I said, I'll put up a quick video, you know, as a reminder if you guys, like, forget when we're doing it or whatever. So I'll put up a quick video saying what date it is so that you can reference it if need be. And that's it, guys. Thanks for joining. Thank you for reading The City of Brass. I'm glad everyone liked it, and this was a really awesome stream and a lot of, like, good information. And I hope you like the next book, because I'll feel really bad if I picked it and it sucked. Yeah, there might be smaller words. I feel like this one, the words are very big. It honestly doesn't look like it's going to be that bad. But, alright, guys. Oh, wait, look at that.
Right there.
I didn't even know you could do that. Well, I want to do it. Wait. Did I do it?
No, Meek. You got to put it away from you. Pull it away. There it is. Hold on. There, right? Pretty good.
Alright, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.
You need to hang up. Hang up the phone.